December 16th, 2020, and this is the City of Anderson Board of Architectural Review. First item on the agenda, addenda. Let me add first to the agenda and wish our Jeff Gilbo a very happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
Glad to have you with us on this special occasion. With that, do you have anything to add?
We just have one brief item to discuss after the meeting.
We'll do that. We'll move right into the public hearing, first being DAR 2037. Jeffrey.
The applicant is requesting approval for a roofing change on the property at 430 Watson Avenue in the North Anderson Historic District. The property is a single-family residence. The applicant is seeking approval for a new roof on a carport and storage building on his lot. This is the storage building. It's at the right rear corner of the property. The roof on the carport is well, there's the back of the carport, and then you can see it from the backyard and then from the road. And so the roof currently on the carport is a corrugated white plastic. The shed appears to have a dark gray shingles on it. The main house has dark gray shingles as well. The applicant would like to change the shed and carport roofs to a dark green metal roofing. You have in your packet as well some examples from the neighborhood of other roofs where you have the dark gray color in the picture. This is more of a green color. He would like a very dark green if possible for the roofs. The metal plastic you see there. He feels that this would help the structure to blend into the background. This would also work with the green trim on the accessory structure. There is, and these pictures did not print out, that is actually green. That's that trim piece, the corner pieces on the building, and is green. It appears that the porch itself, again, the colors didn't come out very well in the print, but there was you can see where there was still green paint from the original porch color for the house. So there is a green element to the property between the trim on the storage building and some green paint that was originally on the house itself. And so when reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 3 of the Residential Design Guidelines, which is for rehabilitation of historic resources. The following sections apply to this request. The policy states that you should use roof materials in a manner similar to that seen historically, preserve original roof materials, and replacement of roof materials for an historic resource should convey scale and texture similar to those used traditionally. The board must decide the proposed changes meet these above criteria. Happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Okay. So the carport in a storage building, clearly not historic structure, nor contributing architectural details. Therefore, the metal roof's not necessarily out of line there.
That's the, looking from Edgewood carport, you can see the storage building in the back here.
Thank you. Comments, concerns, questions?
Why would you not match shingles that are on the house on that carport?
Too shallow a slope. Has to be steeper for shingles, usually. Did you agree?
Yeah, that's right. I think anything less than a 4 and 12 slope.
And that's less than a 4 and 12?
It appears to be, yes.
It's pretty shallow. Driving by.
I know when I first read through the proposal, I read it really quickly, and I thought the house was included, which I thought that would not be appropriate. But I know that 18 years ago when we built our shop building, in the back, there's a section. It has shingles to match the house, what you see, but there is a section in the back that we did the metal, and it was approved by the board because it was a slope very similar to this.
I think either material presented would be an improvement for what's there.
Definitely.
But I think the metal would be my preference. I mean, I think it's a little bit more of a historic look as opposed to the plastic or composite corrugated material.
Right, that's what's existing on, the plastic is what's existing on the carport structure there, so.
And there was a green plastic in one of the photos, too, was as an alternate material?
Well, it's just, this is showing that, they're both metal roofs, from the general area, and this is showing the different color, green here and kind of a darker gray here, so.
This photograph here, do you have that one?
He's trying to show this kind of a galvanized metal there, I think is all he's trying to show there, so.
I think that's plastic, is it not? I thought that was being presented as an alternate.
No, it's just strictly metal.
Okay, it will be metal.
Is there a reason that since the roof is a charcoal gray, that the metal could not be the same color as the roof rather than the green, particularly since the building is white? And so it's not like the whole building's painted green. It seems like even the dark green is going to make it stand out more. From these pictures, I haven't seen it in real life.
Dave, you want to address that?
Sorry?
Do you want to address that?
The color.
Amanda's question was, why the dark green as opposed to dark gray?
Well, I honestly don't call it dark gray. Dark green seems to fit into the environment. It's a very forested environment on that corner, especially, during the time leaves are up. What I'm really trying to accomplish here is to give more of a, obviously I'm trying to fix the leaks, but I figured it was the opportunity to give more of a continuity to the back of the house. As you see it from Edgewood, I mean, you can tell it's a historic house from the front and side, but from the back, not necessarily so. And so it was more of an attraction thing. I didn't think of it as an option. I suppose we could do that if we need to.
How do we feel about the corrugated type roof versus a standard metal roof?
Well, your standard metal's going to be, I think, probably far more attractive than more of the corrugated, wouldn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what he's proposing, is the actual, right, Jeff?
Right, and standing seam metal
Yes.
roof.
And I believe
Why
it was,
these photos?
Okay.
What?
Bill's wondering why the corrugated
Yeah.
photos are even in the package.
Well, I was saying the original roof was like a corrugated plastic.
Okay,
What he's looking to do is to do both roofs and the standing seam metal.
okay. So just representational of
To show
what's on it currently.
Yeah.
Yes, Amanda?
in the picture, I believe, when I read over this, it said a dark green, almost like a Charleston green, whereas this picture is, to me, this color green is going to jump out at you. But if it was a Charleston green, which we recommend lots of times for painting buildings, that it would just blend in. So I guess that's my question. It's having it the charcoal gray would be seamless, and you would just blend in with the roof. And the posts that are holding up the roof are black. I guess they'll be repainted. Whereas green, this color, all of a sudden is going to jump out at you. If it was a Charleston green, almost black, to me, that would blend more. So I don't know which was, this color green.
This was representational of roofing that was in the neighborhood already. And so his statement was that he would like the darkest green that they can find that's made in that color in the metal roofing. And so maybe where we can improve sort of an either or, like a Charleston green or the dark gray
Okay,
metal, whatever he's able to obtain.
that sounds good.
Would that work for you, Dave?
Yes.
All right, so with Amanda's suggestion and the applicant's acquiescence,
I'll make
we're looking at for an alternate. Go
Um,
ahead, Amanda.
I'll make a motion that we approve it with the recommendation that it be either Charleston green or the dark gray.
Very good. Have a motion. Second from Bill. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Certainly. Thanks. Now we'll move on to BAR 2038.
The applicant is seeking approval for a satellite dish installation on the property at 224 East Orr Street in the downtown historic district. And so this is right behind the printer. It's actually part of the printer's property. So you've got the printer, their parking lot, and then right behind it, there's a grassy area. And that's looking at from Orr Street. And then from the opposite side, looking back towards the library. Right now, there's a vacant portion of the property behind the printer. The applicant is seeking approval for a new satellite dish and screening. They have a 25-foot square area where the equipment will be. And so it's a satellite dish on the ground. And then here's a little picture of the satellite dish on the bottom there. And then some ground equipment and cabinet. This has come before you before. We gave you kind of a preview a couple of months ago that this would be coming your way. At that time, what we had talked about was the request was for a chain link fence to surround it. They have switched now to a 6-foot high wooden fence with a wooden gate surrounding it. So we've gone from the chain link to the wood. Pressure treated wooden fence with a gate. And then the proposed use is a legal use in the general commercial zoning district. And when reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 7 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, which are design guidelines for site design. And the following sections apply to this request. The policy states to minimize the visual impacts of mechanical equipment, minimize the visual impacts of mechanical equipment as seen from the street, and locate the satellite dish out of public view to the extent feasible and in compliance with other regulations. Really, a day-specific language for this type of use. The satellite dish is more of the DirecTV kind of satellite dish is what they're thinking about in those guidelines. But that's the closest language we have about it. And there's no specific language regarding fencing either. So with that, the board must decide if the proposed changes meet the above criteria. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
We appreciate the change from the chain link to the wooden fencing. I take it that's going to be left unstained?
Yes, that is right. That is correct.
And 6 foot in height, is that going to pretty much come to the top of the equipment? Or
Yeah, the equipment's, they recover the equipment and the dish is about 6.5 feet, depending on how the tilt is towards the satellite.
Okay, very good. Questions, comments, concerns? Again, as Jeff indicated, we've seen this before. All right, is there a motion?
Make a motion that we approve it.
A motion from Bill, second from Billy. Anything further? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you, sir. And again, we appreciate the modification.
Have a good holiday.
You as well. And finally, tonight, public hearing, BAR 2039.
The applicant is requesting approval for a new signs at 201 North Main Street in the downtown historic district. Signs are informational signs indicating the parking lot is for tenants of the building only. So this is 201 North Main Street, where West Point Stevens is, and there's the parking area back behind here. It looks like 3 locations are looking to place these signs. Private parking for tenants of 201 North Main Street. They're on metal poles, looks like 2x2, painted blue. Then you have a vinyl graphic on the sign, also in a white and blue color scheme. Again, there's 3 signs. Signs are essentially non-advertising directional signage. We would take a little bit different view if it was advertising signage with a business name on it.
Right.
This type. When reviewing this application, the board should focus on the standards set forth in Chapter 8 of the Downtown Design Guidelines, which are design guidelines for signs. The following sections apply to this request. The first policy states to design these signs to be in balance with the overall character of the property. Appropriate signs include, in this case, the freestanding or pole-mounted signs, and then a sign to be in character with the material, color, and detail of the building. The board must decide if the proposed changes meet the above criteria. A sign permit will be required prior to the installation of the signs. With that, again, I'm happy to answer any questions you have for staff, and the applicant is here tonight as well.
Only thing I can't find is the material of the actual sign. Is that metal?
It is not metal. It is.
Which is
Yeah.
a composite aluminum foam.
Okay.
So that would be material we've approved in the past.
Yeah, exactly. Seems to be in scale and tasteful. Comments, concerns, questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I think the building, on Main Street is so attractive, and I love, since it's been painted the darker color too that we approved, is so nice. And when I saw this, I thought, why is it blue and white? Because why, I don't, if that's the company colors but if the posts particularly were painted to tie in with 201 North Main, it seems like it would be a lot more attractive. And I don't know, even black lettering, or even if there's a reason to have the blue lettering, to have the post tie in with the building, I think would make a lot more continuity.
That makes sense.
That's fine. I think it's a good suggestion, blends with the, maybe ties it into the building a little better.
Okay, so instead of the blue, we'll do dark grays that would blend with the building?
Yep.
Excellent.
But was there a reason for the printing to be blue also, or?
Because the company's logo has blue in the blue
Red logo.
Logo, I think is what we were talking about.
on legacy.
Oh, legacy. Legacy's the blue, that's right. That's what you do. That's fine, yeah.
So we'll change all the blue to a gray that,
Gray or black.
The black,
Gray or black.
black, yeah.
Just want to make sure it does show a little bit white, I think.
Yeah, I mean, black even would.
Yeah,
That's the most great colors and white.
excellent.
That sounds great.
That'd be great. Thank you. Appreciate that modification.
Thank you.
And with that is our motion. A motion from Mary Lou, second Amanda.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, gentlemen.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thanks,
You
guys.
as well.
Happy birthday.
You want to go ahead and conclude or go into?
Conclude, right.
Okay.
The minutes conclude. now
All
we'll talk about the
right,
other.
very good. We've been given the minutes from last month's meeting. I was not here, so I'll leave it to you to review. And Amanda?
I'm very verbal tonight, I don't mean to, but this was just a typo in doing it on page 3. It repeatedly says North Anderson Historic, and it's down under BAR 2033, and in the second paragraph it says 2309 Edgewood Avenue in the Boulevard Historic District, which should be North Anderson. It says North Anderson everywhere else in the whole thing. It was just a typo.
Very good. And with that, is there a motion to approve? Amanda, thank you. Andy, second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, anything further? Hearing none, a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Bill, thank you. Mary Lou, all in favor? Happy holidays, folks.